Hello, welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking about rocks, which does not sound very mom encouraging to me, but it is. So my name is Stephanie and my goal on my channel is to encourage moms in homeschooling and homemaking and all the things that are encompassed in that, because we know that nothing is separated from each other. So I have my rock jar today and I'm going to talk a little bit about our rocks, but really what I'm talking about is priorities. So if you've never seen the rock analogy, I'm going to show it to you here in just a minute. And we're going to talk about choosing priorities as a family. And this can be a little tricky. We live in a day and age where we see everybody's highlight reel. We see everybody's big rocks. And by seeing everybody's big rocks, we think we need to have the same big rocks. But we got to remember, not everybody has all those big rocks. We take big rocks from Susie, and we take big rocks from Mary, and big rocks from, I'm trying to think of another name, Laura, and we put all their big rocks, and we think we need to do all the same big rocks. And that's not true. We need to decide for our family and our life and our season and our timing, what are we going to be doing with our time? So the rock analogy, if you've never seen it, is I have big rocks in my jar, and then I have little rocks in my jar. Now I have them on my floor. Okay, so if you're going to fill a jar with rocks, if I fill my jar with all these little tiny rocks, can you see my little tiny rocks? If I fill it with all these little tiny rocks first, and then try to put in the big rocks won't fit. If I put the big rocks in first, now that I've taken them out, it's harder, but then I can pour all the little rocks in afterwards and fill in the spaces allotted. So how does this equate to our time and our priorities? So our time and priorities are the big rocks. The things that matter most to us are big rocks, and they fill our jar. And we need to decide what those big rocks are going to be. And then all the other things can fill in and be space around them as we have time. But not everything can always be a big rock. Our jar is only so big. And if we're not careful, we take things that are less important, a little rock, and we put them in first and try to schedule the big rocks around them. And it doesn't work well. So what are our big rocks? Our first big rock is church. We believe heavily in a local church and belonging to a local church and serving and being fed and discipled within a local church community. So Sunday morning, Sunday school, Wednesday night, small group are big rocks in our jar. And they're always going to be big rocks unless, God could change us somehow. I don't know. But we won't schedule something on those times on a regular basis, right? We have a random family thing to go to, maybe a one-off activity thing for the kids. A Wednesday night, maybe I'd be hard-pressed to miss church for a kids' activity. I'm trying to think if we have that, and I can't think of one off the top of my head. So there might have been one, but it'd be more for like a bigger family obligation we wanted to do. So those go in first. Another really big rock for us is our co-op. So I was a big part of starting our co-op, and it is a big rock in our life. That is where we do our science and our history for all the kids. I help lead the co-op, and that is our kids' primary socialization. I have so many opinions on that, but we won't go there in this video. Socialization tool. This is where we are getting our learning to interact with other people and learning to work with other people. We are getting our science and history education. We are learning how to have other teachers. We're learning how to get work done on a schedule. So there are a lot of great skills that are being learned along with our science and history. And so those are some skills that I want my kids to learn, like how to have a different teacher, how to work with some other kids, whether they're easy or difficult, how to have work due on a deadline and make sure you get it accomplished and do good work and listen to other adults. All of that, along with their science and history, is wrapped up in co-op. So that provides a lot of great things for our kids. The other big socialization piece is their Sunday school and Wednesday night. And that time, they also see the same kids, and they see some of the same kids they see at co-op. So it provides a lot of good friend time to develop some friendships and some community. Also a small group, they see again some of the same kids. So we have lots of interaction points, and I think lots of interaction points are really what does help build relationship and community. So, and that is all intentionally within one group. So all of those things are big rocks in our family. Another big rock, or semi big rock, is family dinner or family time. We do not want to be gone every single night of the week. Now, there have been seasons where we are, and we all accept that for a short period of time. But we long term are not going to sign up for activities where we're going to be gone every single night of the week. We enjoy and value having time as a family, and my husband having time with our kids. Otherwise, they would never see their father. So we value that time. So maybe for a short season, we'll have practices on a couple of different nights and be running in a couple of directions. But that is not our ideal or what we would do long term. Another big rock is our academics. We are academic homeschoolers. I have a video that talks about us being academic homeschoolers. That is a big rock for us. In order to do good academics, we have to have a lot of time at home. We can't do everything else that I want to do and do good academics. So solid academics is a main point for us. I do have a video on balancing that with all the fun things that are also educational in homeschooling. So you can go look at that if you want kind of a side view of balancing it. Now, what are small rocks for our family? Some small rocks are doing 4-H projects, especially with friends. We did a 4-H group for a while and we really enjoyed it. However, it didn't provide enough value for our family time to miss the evenings that it meant and miss the school time it meant. It couldn't be another big rock. We can't really add more big rocks unless we're going to scale back somewhere. So our big rocks are mostly set. And then, so 4-H just couldn't be a big rock, but it can be a little rock, which means that every once in a while we can get together with friends and do a fun project. It means that we can do projects that will turn into the expo and the fair. It means that we might be able to do some years do a competition, like a culinary challenge or something like that. There's different challenges and things the kids can do. It means that we can go to fair and spend a little bit of time there, but we can't go, and we're not necessarily going to be able to spend the whole week of fair out just having fun the whole week. That's just because it's not a big rock. We know families that 4-H stuff is a big rock, and that is great for their family. It doesn't mean it has to be for our family. Okay? This is really where the key is knowing what is best for your family. And sometimes this depends on the size of your family. We have a large family. I think that means there's fewer big rocks we can fit in here because church takes a certain amount of time. And if we put in other things that are big rocks, we just are running out of space. Academics. So if I only have 2 kids, the academic big rock takes up less space than if I have 8 kids that I need academics for. I mean, I'm down to 6 left at home, but still, that's a lot of kids that we have to fit in there. Some other things that are small rocks in our family. Activities. So you go, well, do your kids never get to do a sport? Do they never? They do, but we are intentional in choosing activities and sports that are limited seasons so that we know we're going to be busy for this season and then we're going to take a break. So for instance, we might have a kid playing football and he is going to have football practice once a week, but we only choose the football where there's only one practice a week. There are some really cool teams out there that have practices 3 times a week that are half an hour away from us. I don't have that capacity to drive him there, be there, come back 3 times a week. Plus they have summer workout time and it doesn't fit in our life. And that's okay. But we found a great football way for him to play and he gets to play with friends and it is a great experience. But it's for like this 8 to 10 week window and then we're done with it. We have had kids do plays And again, they're a little longer season sometimes, but it's a season, and we know that they're going to have practice for this whatever time. And then the younger kids, we usually are able to play at the park, and they usually have friends that they're playing with. So it kind of gives us that dual purpose where the little kids are also getting something and the bigger kids are getting something. We really like when we can have kind of a dual purpose for our activities. Let's see what else. We've done art classes that we sign up for, like, actually we usually sign up for like a 6-week session, but sometimes she'll have like a special like Saturday workshop one, and we really even enjoy that, where it's like one day we drop you off, you do art for 5 hours, and then we pick you up. We have had kids play volleyball. We've had kids do, what else have we had kids do? The plays were a big one for my older kids. We've done soccer here and there. We'll do kind of a variety of things when they come up and we're like, oh, that works really well with our schedule right now. But if it doesn't, that's okay too. So those are all little rocks, and they have to fit in around our big rocks. Some other little rocks would be field trips. I love to take field trips with my kids. I love to take my kids. We have a zoo pass and a children's museum pass and a natural history museum pass. And I want to go do all those things with my kids. Like every day I want to be able to go and run and do one of these things. But I can't, because we need to be home to do school. And where we live, we are 45 minutes to an hour from basically any of those things. So it is a good 3/4 of our day to go do it. It's not like I can be like, we'll go to the zoo for 3 hours, 2 hours this morning, and then come home. It takes us 45 solid minutes to get to the zoo, which means it also takes that long to get home. So you have an hour and a half of drive time. I need to be there for at least 3 to 4 hours. So that does affect what we're going to do. We have found some great shows that some local performing arts centers will put on that are only like $5 or $10 for our kids to go to. That is great. But those are small rocks. Now, what does that mean that it's a small? It means we're not going to do them every week or every month. But if we pick 2 or 3 to do throughout the year, the kids get the fun experience. We are learning and we're getting to experience the play, and we're still getting our big rocks done. Going to the state parks. I love taking my kids to the state parks and maybe do a little hike and explore what's around and be outside in nature. Again, we can't do it every week. That would be so fun and that would be amazing. We're 45 minutes from the good state parks. I'm glad we have them, and I'm glad they're not that far away, and they're very affordable. But it's a drive. So we can't just go and do that for 2 hours in the morning. It's going to be a good 1/2 to 3/4 of our day. And that's not a bad thing, but it just means that we're not going to do it every week. Now, some families maybe who live close, or when we had just little kids and academics didn't take as much time, our academic rock was smaller, we could spend more time doing the little rocks, right? We could spend more time on the field trips. As our academic time has increased, and it's not always just time with me teaching, it's time that the kids need to be doing work. Math just takes a certain amount of time when you're trying to do algebra. Let's see, are there any other little rocks I'm not thinking of? I'm sure there are. Play dates, again, that used to be one we did all the time. And now as our kids have gotten older, we've had to kind of back off of that. And that's hard sometimes. But we need to be home to get our academics done, because that is one of our big rocks. And so I do have to watch our time to know that we're getting those things done. A small rock for us might be read alouds. I love to read aloud to my kids. And that's part of our academics, but it's not what I would list as a core part of our academics. Like some families, I know read alouds are a core part. For us, they're not. There's something I really want to do with our kids. So I do try to fit that in, but it is something that can be pulled out if we are running out of time. So even kind of within the academic window, there can be parts and pieces that are more of a priority and less of a priority. So how do you decide priorities for your family? Number one, they're going to change with seasons. What you need in a season, we've had seasons where we needed to rest. So maybe we had time where we didn't serve at church at all. And that was okay. It was perfectly fine that we didn't serve. And it gave us a chance to rest our minds and our bodies. And that was really necessary for that time. And now we're back to doing lots of good serving things, and that's wonderful. So your priorities can change over time based on what your family needs. Maybe you just need a break from a bunch of stuff and you say, hey, we're actually not going to commit to anything for the next 6 weeks. We're just not. We're going to take the next 6 weeks off. And maybe you're like, we have had a good season of rest, so now we're able to really jump full force into doing some more things. And that's okay too. You'll have to just kind of balance what is going to work best for your family at each specific time. So to decide your priorities, first decide your absolutes as a family. So for us, our absolutes are church, academics, and co-op, which fits with academics, but those are really high priorities. Family dinner or family time is also a really high big rock that exists. So those things are super important to us. And we have to really think about any little rock that will take away time from one of those big rocks. So knowing and just maybe even writing it out, you could actually, that'd be fun. I should create a template. Wouldn't that be fun? Of like little pictures of rocks and just big rocks and little tiny rocks, and you could fill in what are our big priorities right now, and then what are some little things I want to do. Another little rock in our family is having other families over. I love to host and have families over and play games and just have such a sweet time of fellowship with other families. And we have seasons where we did that. We have had, when our kids were really little, we'd have people over every weekend, and it was awesome, and I loved it. As our time has gotten more spread out because we have more kids and our big rocks take more time and more energy, which then drains my energy, we can't do that as much. So it is a little rock at this point of having people over and hosting people. But that doesn't mean it ever gets done. It means it just gets done less frequently. So it may mean we look at the calendar. Like at one point this summer, I looked at the calendar and I said, hey, we have the next 3 weekends completely open with nothing specific on them. Let's invite 2 families over, over these next 2 or 3 weekends. That still left us time as a family on a Friday or Saturday night to have dinner, play some games, or watch a movie, something like that. But it also then allowed us to host. Now the last month has not felt like we've had any spare time. And so we haven't hosted anybody in a while. And that's fine too. So the little rocks really are going to vary a lot by season. I feel like the size of our big rocks changes, but the big rocks kind of stay the same. But the little rocks change out more frequently for our family. And so you really have to decide, what are your big rocks? And for some of you, that may be extended family because you live really close. And so a big rock is going to be spending time with that extended family. And that is such a blessing and a wonderful thing. That may mean a little rock of having people over is going to get done less often because you have this big extended family you're going to be hanging out with. Or it may mean the field trip gets done less often because you're at grandma's house a couple days a week. Those are really great things. So it's just deciding for your family. What are our big rocks? And then maybe here's what all these little rocks are that we want to do. Now, which ones are we going to choose for this moment? Which ones do we think we can fit in this moment? And when an opportunity comes up, being willing to say no. And it is very hard. My kids have been involved in a play where we loved it. And then the next time it came around, I said, hey, I feel stretched too thin. And if we participate in this, I'm not going to have any rest evenings. And I just can't. And we said, no, thank you. And that is okay also. So I hope that gives you some ideas of big rocks and little rocks. And I hope you take some time to kind of come up with, what are your big rocks? What are your little rocks? What are maybe some little rocks you want to be able to put in? And what are you willing to take out to put those in? Or what big rock can you shrink a little so that you have time for that little rock to fit in? So I hope that gives you some ideas and some thoughts. This whole idea came from, I saw a podcast about a family talking about the things that they wanted for their kids. And they are wanting their kids to be able to have and do everything, have all the knowledge, have all the experiences, do all the entrepreneurial stuff, do have all the family relationships, have everything. They want everything. And it's such a goal, right? Like we want to have everything for our kids. We want to offer them the best of everything. But the reality is there's only so much time. And sometimes you're going to be sacrificing the best on the altar of the good. So you see all these good things going on, but you're going to miss out on what your family views as the best. And I'm not going to tell you what that is. That's going to be up to your family to decide. And none of it's, well, I mean, there's a few wrong probably, but most of it's just a personal choice. So I hope this gives you some ideas of an encouragement that you may not be able to do it all at once, but you can give your kids lots of great experiences just spread out over time where you can really focus on the things that matter most to your family. Thanks for joining us today. Please leave a comment if you have something else you'd like me to talk about or you have any questions. Please hit the like button and subscribe to see more videos about what we do.